Hey guys, it's Dragon Rockstar here, and I'm coming with a Mekk-Knight deck profile. I went to my tournament the past Saturday, and I came in 4th place with this deck. I didn't go up there with a side deck, I just went up there with the main deck and the extra deck, and I am surprisingly the results I went against. The decks I went against, let's see, I went against Heroes, Turbo Heroes. I first game won, second game won. Then went against a mirror match. First game won, second game factor. It was quite fun of an event. I just like the combos that the Mekk-Knights did, and there's a few cards in here I would change, but I figure I'll keep it together and show you guys what I went out there with. But let's go ahead, get started here, guys. Oops, cards just like to fall down, huh? I know it's been a while. I'm sorry for that, guys. The reason why I haven't got a chance to upload other videos for the past couple of weeks because I've been working a little bit more. My hours have changed at work and such. I haven't got much of a chance to upload things. Plus, my house is always hectic, so I figured I'll come to a location where it's much more easier for me to do these videos for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this. For the Mekk-Knight engine, you always play triple purple Nightfall. Purple Nightfall is basically your combo piece. He's basically your help to extend your board even more. You just banish him as a quick effect. If your opponent has a way to banish your stuff, you can chain and quick effect him to banish him. Good. He's kind of busted as well. I mainly, after I use his effect, I'll banish search add off of his ability and then link away with him for more shenanigan combos. But yeah, you run 2 of them and triple purple. For the other, somewhat decent Mekk-Knight monsters, you run double Mekk-Knight Eclipse. Mekk-Knight Eclipse just helps you move things that you don't want around. Plus, it helps you move your Mekk-Knight monsters around so you can stop your opponent from activating their effects due to the effect of War Legacy Secrets. So Mekk-Knight Eclipse is just pretty much good at 2. You never really want to play 3 of those because it's bricky. I do play double Mekk-Knight Yellow Star. I regret the decision of playing this because I didn't really read its effect all the way through. So one time I was trying to get rid of my opponent's build spell and I couldn't do that because it has to be in the same column, which is goofy of me because I wasn't paying attention and I didn't really read it. I went up there with this deck not knowing a few of the card's effects, but it was pretty broken. Even with a few misreads, I still won some. Because Red Moon was actually very needed in certain hands. I was hoping to draw him more than anything due to the fact I just like to get rid of those monsters, those problematic monsters that I can't get around. That's my personal opinion, but I went up there with these. They are quite busted depending on what you're going against. For the only hand trap, this is the funny part, for the only hand trap I played in the deck was Gamma. Because I played Lamba, PSY-Frame Lamba. The reason why I play Gamma is because it's a psychic monster, so you can get more abilities off of Lamba. Plus, once you do Purple Nightfall's ability to banish it and add a Mekk-Knight monster, you can chain with Lamba and go off from there. True King All Calamities. True King All Calamities is very useful against a lot of decks. So if you draw one of these, you basically can't really use the True King engine, so you can use it as discard fodder sometimes and things of that nature if you EV. But the only one that's probably very, very useful, you probably abuse this effect, is the Nightmare Idlee. If your opponent has more than 8 link markers on the board, you could just summon it. So these is just for mainly Monstrosity. That's it for all the monsters. I know it's really low. Personally, there's some things I probably would change up. The hand trap ratio, I would like to get some hand traps to be placed in it. I think hand traps would be very, very useful. But other than that, for the field spell, triple Magical Meltdown. Magical Meltdown is very, very useful. Magical Meltdown is just, it's basically get you there. So it's very useful. Then you got 2 invocations. Now, a lot of people play 3 of this. I don't like to play 3. 3 is just too much. It's all you ever really need is 1, but sometimes since you're playing a little hefty of a deck, you might not always dig through your deck all the way. So it's good to play 2. In my personal opinion, 3 is just a bit much. I didn't really ever need 3 at one time, so at that event, I just always was glad to search this out more than have it in my hand. Because it baits out, like, I can bait out my opponent just from doing all the adding abilities. That way my opponent uses all their hand traps so I can go for more combos. Double Insta-Fusion. Insta-Fusion is just for my Insta-Fusion targets. I only play 2. 3 is a bit much for me as well. Same as Invocation. You want to see it, but you don't want to see it all the time. I think Invocation's good and Insta-Fusion's good, both at 2, in my personal opinion. This Super Poly was the reason why I mainly won a lot of the games. There's a few instances where Super Poly was kind of dead. Surprising factor, I drew 2 of it in one game, and it was just disgusting. I swear it was. Reason both of them helped me win the game, which was surprising. Even though you can only, it was just busted in my personal opinion. Triple Call by the Graves for the only last double or triple spell card I play. Call by the Grave, I've never really seen it in my hand that much, but it's always, in my personal opinion, I still keep it in. Might cut it down more than one, maybe boost up Instant Fusion or Invocation, but to play the 1 World Legacy Monstrosity, 1 World Legacy Key, and 1 World Legacy Sensation. Sensation is just self-explanatory. It just helps you go off more combos and it helps get you in the other monster you need. Key, I never really saw it. I'm tempted in cutting it out. What it does was you could target one of your banished Mekk-Knight monsters or World Legacy cards, add it to your hand, negate any opponent's trap effects that activate in the same column as this Mekk-Knight. As a Mekk-Knight monster you control. Like, it's good in certain perspectives. I just never really need it. Never really seen it, and never really went against heavy. Never really went against heavy trap decks when I was up there at the event. There was a couple that was up there, but I'm personally either going to probably keep them in here for now and see if I'll ever draw it, or maybe take it out and maybe run more. Then the 1 Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is just to help you get that light monster in the graveyard or Aleister in the graveyard so you can go with more shenanigans. Personal opinion, might keep it in, might not. I'm not sure. There was times where this card became dead, so I baited out. There was one time when I said it, and my opponent just popped it, and regret the decision because they just wasted their target. Like, it was just hilarious. One World Legacy Secrets. When I get my hands on more of this card, I will be probably running 3 of this. This is just too broken not to play. This also helped me win majority of my games. It's just busted. I love this because it basically makes your opponent's monsters dead. Like, your opponent's monsters are useless. That's what it's basically said to a couple of my opponents. Because I had one board where I had like three Mekk-Knight monsters on board, blocking both of my opponent's. Won 2 games. Infinite Permanence is just broken as well. It's a good card. For the extra deck, I play 1 True King Calamities. It's self-explanatory. You gotta play it because of world. You summon this, your opponent just can't play. That's basically how it goes. Unless your opponent has a hand trap, that's a different story. For the Invoked engine, I played double Invoked Mechaba, 1 Invoked Raidjin, 1 Invoked Purgatrio, and 1 Eclipse. Basically Elysium, however you pronounce it. I never really. The only guy out of the whole entire little batch here was the Purgatrio. Correct me if I'm wrong, or correct me how I say their names down in the comments below. But Invoked Mechaba, I actually summoned 2 in 1 turn and just won the game from there. And then Raja helped me protect myself because my opponent summoned. I was going in the mirror match. My opponent summoned this guy and tried to attack me, activate his ability because he was in the defense mode. Activate his ability, put this one face down, and he didn't have anything against that. So it was a surprising factor that I won the game off of that. But this guy is very useful if you're trying to go for the OTK. This guy was summoned majority all the time. I used him a lot. This guy was summoned somewhat sometimes. It helped me save me a game off of this guy. And then these are always summoned. You always might want 2 because sometimes your opponent will get rid of the first one, so you have the second one just to go off of. And then this guy is just busted. It's basically a free destroy and a free get rid of. Like it was amazing in my personal opinion. For the other fusions, I play 1 Millennium-Eyes Restrict and 1 Mudragon of the Swamp. These were my instant fusions, super polys, targets. Millennium-Eyes Restrict was mainly for my instant fusion target. I'll summon this in my extra deck zone. Try to go for the shenanigans, or I'll actually summon this after I do all my shenanigans first, or like after this. Like after I do all my combos, I'll summon this one off the Insta Fusion, and then link away with a couple of my other cards, and then link away with this, and just go off with more combos. The swamp was specifically for super poly sometimes, because you can get rid of your opponent if you're playing against a lot of other decks that have the same attribute but different types. It just helps out. Then you have, I summon him most often to link away so I can get this in the graveyard, or this was really needed because of Super Poly sometimes. The 1 Starving Venom, Fusion Dragon, also for Super Poly. Super Poly is just busted. I'm surprised that they even brought back Super Poly. This wouldn't be really heavily used if Super Poly wasn't out. This basically helped me win 1 game up there. But so far, I summoned it only once. I summoned almost everything in this extra deck besides Prerogative and Board Sword. For the link 1 Salamangreat Almiraj. Almiraj is used for the combo. You just link away with Invoker after you search, summon this in your extra deck zone, then normal summon the Aleister The underneath him, and then set a card in the back row, link away with these two, so you can get Morningstar and just go off from there. Monster, the Invoker of Madness, and then one Mekk-Knight of the Morningstar, and then one PSY-Frame Lord Lamba, Landa, however you pronounce them. Summoned all, pretty much somewhat the game. Summon him all the time. Summon him every once in a while. This actually helped me win 2 games. This helped me win many of my games, and this helped me win at least 1 game. They all did pretty much what they do, which is pretty best. This one, it allows me to discard a Mekk-Knight monster or a World Legacy card and search out a World Legacy. So I'm usually searching out World Legacy Monstrosity, but most often, like I said, I want to always have Monstrosity in my hand so I can go off. Aleister The Invoker of Madness. I usually summon him, summon Mechaba, link away with this and whatever other monster I had on my side of the board, and then go for Mekk-Knight Morningstar. That way I can have more of a board where I can have this to protect my Mekk-Knight monsters. And then PSY-Frame Lord Lambda actually helped me win a couple games because of Gamma. If I didn't have this in my extra deck, I would be able to use Gamma. So I'm glad that I had that in my extra deck. Then one Mekk-Knight Crusader Incremax. There's nothing to say about this. This was the reason why I won 3 games. So I'm glad I played this. It's just basically like I played against Thunder Dragons. That's one deck I missed to say. I played against Thunder Dragons, summoned this, and passed because he got rid of a majority of my board, and all I had left was 2 Link monsters, and I couldn't use those. Or I had 3 monsters on my side of the board. A Link, like literally it was I had Morningstar and then Mechaba and another monster, and I link with the Morningstar, Mechaba, and that other Mekk-Knight monster, and just summon. After I link with those 2, I summon Lamba, and then link with Lamba and Morningstar to summon Crusader Incremax and win the game off of that. Because this guy is just too broken. He's hard to out, and he's pretty much busted. Like, he's basically your Honest. He's like the god card of all Yu-Gi-Oh! And then you got the 1/4 Sword Dragon. Never really summoned him at all. I'm probably going to take him out, probably run another extra deck Link monster. Probably Nightmare Phoenix probably be played in here. There was some times where I needed back row hate. I know I didn't play really of a side deck for this deck, but I'm glad that I came in the top 4. If I was to make a side deck of this deck, I would probably say side deck Twin Twisters, Nibiru, things of that nature. They are really busted. But 4 Sword is good at some certain perspectives, but I think, in my personal opinion, I'll probably end up taking him out for like a Nightmare Phoenix, and then for other monsters in the extra deck, I'll probably keep the extra deck how it is. Like I said, I never really summoned either of these 2, but this is still good if you want to go for the OTK, because usually your opponent have a lot of cards, and you just usually get an OTK off of it. And then I'm probably going to take out for, like I said, a Nightmare Phoenix, because I'm going to need a back row hate, and if I was to make a side deck, I'll probably side deck more of like Twin Twisters. If I also had to change a few cards in the main deck, I'll probably take out, like I said, a Call by the Grave, just to give me more of a boost with Monstrosity. So that way I can get even more shenanigans to go off after that. I might take out a Call by the Grave for that. I don't know yet. It just depends on what I'm going against and the near future and stuff like that. But who knows? We'll see what happens for this deck. I'm actually probably going to make this... I'm probably going to come out with a side deck or a side deck video, maybe to show you guys, see what cards you guys can side deck in the current meta, that if you're a budget player, what you can use to side deck. Also, another thing about this deck, it's pretty budget, except for the super polymerizations. If you were to get your hands on super polymerization, that could be a little expensive. The most of this deck will probably cost you $100, $25, $150, which is actually a surprising factor, because this deck is pretty cheap in most standards. And overall, this deck is pretty busted, and like I said, it's pretty cheap. So you guys can be able to get your hands on this, no problem. The Mekk-Knights did have one reprint as the Megatens, I believe. I think they were reprinted as Megatens, and then most of the extra deck's pretty cheap except 4 Sword. and Crusader Incremax and Almiraj, but you really need Almiraj to go off your combos, because all you really need is, let me show you guys. You need, if I can find it real quick, you either need this in your hand, this in your hand, and you also need at least a Mekk-Knight monster in your hand. So say if we were to do this, all you really need is either these two in your hand, because all you do is summon Aleister's effect to search out Invocation, and then you set Invocation, then you link with this to summon Almiraj, then you summon a Mekk-Knight, and just go from there. This is part of it. Or you can get the field spell and a Mekk-Knight monster and still do the same thing from there, because you'll just activate the field spell's effect, search out Aleister himself, summon Aleister's effect, search out Invocation, set Invocation, link it with that, summon Mekk-Knight, and just go from there. So it's the main combo you really need is what I saw you guys there. You really need either the field spell and a Mekk-Knight, or or Aleister and a Mekk-Knight, and you have combo. And you also want to make sure that you also have either another Mekk-Knight monster in your hand from Morningstar's ability. But overall, I hope you guys do enjoy this deck profile. I will be coming out with a Lightsworn 60-card Lightsworn Banish deck. Sorry if the table is kind of shaking. I'm using one of the tables here, but I'm gonna I made a 60-card dark deck. It's just a hilarious deck. It's pretty busted. It uses a lot of shenanigans and a lot of combos, but overall, I hope you guys do enjoy this small little spice deck profile. I hope you guys do enjoy this deck. And let me know down in the comments below what other decks you guys might want to see. Do you guys want to see a Salamangreat deck profile, budget variant? Do you guys want to see a Sky Striker deck profile, budget? You guys just let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and comment down below. Like always, Dragon Rockstar is signing out. Peace.